Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another That Chapter. This one is titled Staging Home Invasion to Cover a Horrific Crime. This was actually suggested by a subscriber, so yay. If we get traumatized, not my fault. Woo! Alright, let's go ahead and get into today's story. Go ahead, turn the lights down low, put on something comfy, cuddle up with someone special. Let's get horrified. Seems fitting.
I'm just gonna knock. I think this is gonna be a swatting deal. I just ring the doorbell. The caller hear it. Get some shots up with that.
You should have kicked the door to make it. Well, I'm just saying, right? He's ransacked the house, and you're probably going wishing you would have now.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike.
What? I'm confused. Mike, explain, please.
And in this old video, the story I have for you today, it is all about family. None of it is positive. But is it ever in my old videos? This is a story of bitterness, of like throwing the ultimate tantrum, of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, which when you think about it is kind of like the most disturbing idiom of all time. Iowa? That's where we're going today. This is a story set in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it's all about the Jackson family.
Where did that saying even come from, if you think about it? Who was throwing babies out with their bathwater to where it became a saying? How many people?
Jacksons were a family of
How many babies?
4. And this story, it's super reminiscent of Chandler Halderson or Grant Amato. If you know those two stories, you've probably got a good idea of where this story is going, let me tell you. See, here we have a man, a boy really, a baby boy with a boo-boo on his little foot. Couldn't have been him though, right? I don't think he has it in him. That's what he said, but it's not what everybody else said, including yours truly and maybe even you, possibly by the end of this video. And for a second, my friends, let me just take a sweet little moment to do a little bit of self-promotion, because I have an announcement for y'all. So to cut to the chase, I'm sure you've all noticed how back in November I went to one That Chapter video a week, which I've been doing pretty much till now, and will continue to do. But the reason why I've been doing that is because I'm finally very happy to announce to you the That Chapter podcast. I'm so excited about this. Okay, well, first of all,
You know something? Everyone's getting a damn podcast. I want a podcast too. Fuck it. Why not?
what is it? I hear you barking, big dog. Let me tell you. A podcast. With me telling you, the kind of stories, true crime stories I usually do. But also not, because I'm going to be telling all sorts of other stories I could never tell on YouTube, but I've always wanted to tell. So I'm talking like crazier plots, horror stories, ghost stories perhaps, with a few guests. Maybe, dark history, historical crimes, and historical gruesomeness, and all the story, crazy stuff. It'll be all sorts of stories, from ones I have previously made videos about. I want to go over some of my favorites, some oldies but goldies, but they'll all be freshly retold, with all sorts of updates if there have been updates, but then a whole heap of brand new stories from all periods that I'm so excited to tell you about. For example, one of the more recent podcast episodes tells the story of the Harp brothers and the Mason of the Woods, and these were serial killers during the colonial days, shortly after the American War of Independence,
Okay.
and they butchered their way across the frontiers of Kentucky and Tennessee, up to all sorts of horrific shit before meeting their own gruesome end. And it's twice a week. So going forward, there will be 3 pieces of That Chapter content every week. Monday, podcast. Tuesday, video. Friday, podcast. So please check out the That Chapter podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, on Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And I hope you like it, because I really enjoy doing it. Now, let's get back to
The Bill 5000 podcast. Come and listen to me say random stupid shit randomly.
story that I'm telling you in this old video, and that is the insane lies of Alexander Jackson. Let's give it a go.
Let's do it.
So this whole story takes us to eastern Iowa, to Cedar Rapids, home to about 130,000 people. It's a relatively safe city, and what's the biggest employer, I hear you ask? Why? Corn, of course! Well, here's some kernels for you, and that's the Jackson family, who lived at 4414 Oak Leaf
It could have been worse. He could have said Walmart.
Court Northeast, in northern Cedar Rapids across the Cedar River. Lovely neighborhood. And according to Realtor.com, it looks like this. It's also off market. Good luck getting it back on the market when I tell you what happened in there. Godspeed, Realtor. Because it was there that on the 15th of June 2021 at 8:23 a.m. a 911 call was made from that house to the Cedar Rapids Police Department.
Someone broke into our house. Our address is 4414 Oak Leaf Court Northeast. I've been shot. My other family member's been shot. I need help immediately. I've been shot in the foot. Someone broke in.
Okay.
I've been shot.
You've been shot?
My dad's been shot.
Okay, hold on just a second. Are they still there?
No,
Everyone's
they
shot.
left.
They left? Did they come inside the house?
Yeah,
Okay, where were you shot at?
downstairs.
No, on your body. On your body, where have you been shot?
Foot.
On the call, a man was saying that someone had broken into his house and shot him and his family. He didn't know who they were, but he had been shot in the hoof, in the foot, a mere flesh wound. Now, the rest of his family weren't so lucky, but he didn't know at this point whether they were alive or dead.
Okay, how old are you?
20?
Do you know who it was that broke in?
What was that?
Do you know who broke in?
No.
Okay. Did you get a look at them?
No.
Could you tell if it was a man or a woman?
Man?
A man? Could you tell if they were...
He sounds so confused. Like, I don't know. Grr, Mondays. No, like, if you get shot in the foot, bro, if you're close enough, shoot me in the fucking foot. You'll remember what you're saying. Go ahead and finish it. Your face is gonna be embedded into my brain, Mel.
White, black, Hispanic?
You're
That's okay if
going-
you don't know. Just stay on the line with me, okay? What's your first name?
I'm Alex.
Do you remember what color
He barely remembers what color his name is. Purple.
shirt or what color hair this guy had? Anything about him?
Black?
He was just there trying to stop the bleeding in his foot. He couldn't really describe who had broken in when asked if they were wearing
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure it happens. Not everyone's gonna remember, and shit was happening, shit was flying, popping off, everything's going crazy. He broke. Do you remember hair color, anything at all? Do you remember anything? Black. Black what? The hair? Anything you remember? Is that what you remember? Darkness? You remember darkness? Did they knock you unconscious? What's going on, bud?
black or were themselves black? He gave a yes? Question mark?
You think it was a black male or a black shirt?
No.
Any guns, knives, anything like that?
No, but there's a
No.
I mean, it's not uncommon. I'm sure black folks wear black shirts. I'm sure white folks wear white shirts. Or yellow folks wear yellow shirts. Never seen a purple person, but I'm sure they've wore a purple shirt before. So was the person black? Was the shirt black? Was the hair black? All of the above. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, this son of a bitch fishy. Like, he fishy.
On the floor.
That's not yours?
It's ours, but we got shot by it.
So he took your gun and shot you?
Yes.
Okay.
He said the person who had come in had used the Jacksons' own rifle against them. Other than that,
Even she's getting fucking annoyed. Like, you son of a bitch. Have a good day.
there's just a lot of grunts as his foot was a little sore. In the meantime, police surrounded the house. Dogs, you name it.
This is sounding bullshit. Yeah, and he would be making a shitload of noise. I'm just gonna knock. Shot? Oh, what the fuck?
We got ammo out here. Start another 15 feet. Justin. Who's this down here?
Hey, who are you?
My dad. Is that your dad?
What happened?
What happened? There. He came down. There was a man. Who shot your
Who
dad?
else is here?
My sister. She's back? Yeah, she's in her room. Is she okay? I think so.
Alexander was found lying on the floor, the rest of his family murdered, and the murder weapon, a rifle, still lying on the floor. One body, Alexander's father.
It's not a fucking funny situation. It's really not. Why I'm laughing, I don't know. We have covered this in previous videos. I laugh. I laugh. A dumb thing, stupid, bad. That you shouldn't laugh. Moving on. I liked it. I like the whole video leading up to here. Like, it's just, the cops like, this is bullshit. This is all bullshit. I don't want to fucking do any of it. It's all blah. Grr Mondays. I'm just gonna knock it. I just ring the bell. I don't fucking even care. I don't know. Let's get this shit over with. Someone got up. This is another SWAT thing. I'm shooting someone. Yeah, now someone's been shot. Who's been? Who are you? Why are you crawling on the fucking ground? That's my dad. Okay, but who are you? I've been shot. There was a man. Where's he at? Who else is? Ooh. This is all great. I'm loving every minute of it.
Father, Jan, was lying in the basement living room near him, shot 5 times,
Oh,
twice in the head.
fuck.
In her own bedroom, Alex's sister, Sabrina, 19 years old, lying dead on her bed. She too had been shot in the chest and then in the face. And finally, the mother, Melissa,
The face. Got shot in the face.
upstairs in the master bedroom, shot twice in the head.
Motherfucker watched Zombieland double tap one too many times.
There was blood in Alex's bedroom, and he would later say that after he had been shot, he crawled into his room to get his phone to dial 911.
Anything about anybody yet?
I'm assuming it's mom, dad, and sister.
Okay.
No names.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, where's the next one?
Right here.
This is a nice house, though. I mean, nice house.
Are you going to?
Shell casings right here.
I mean, look at that. Look at the windows and that fireplace. Beautiful. I bet you can. I don't know. I mean, I know he said it's going to be a realtor's nightmare, but it's beautiful.
Okay.
We have confirmed all 3.
Yeah.
His daughter in the back.
Yeah.
Now, Alexander Jackson,
And I mean, if you think about how hard, I mean, if no one lived any place anyone got murdered, nobody lived nowhere. People get murdered everywhere all the time. I guarantee you there was murder somewhere close to somewhere you're at. I'm saying. At one time, this was a wild, crazy place. I don't know. How many of you out there live in a house knowing that a murder had happened there? It wasn't like a possession or nothing like that. It was just do stuff fucking killed everyone type situation. How many of y'all would move into the house? I would. It would depend on the house. Okay? It would depend on that.
He grew up in a very loving home. By all accounts, great family, very healthy. Just really one of those, they just took care of each other. In the years since they'd been living in that house in Cedar Rapids, there were 0 police reports. The police had never been called to that house until now. As I said, the family, they were great together. You see the pictures. They would travel together. They would have dinner together, board game nights, everything. Kind of things I try to avoid. Alex was 1 year older than his little sister, Sabrina, and the family had moved to the area from Oregon about 10 years previous. As I said, all the neighbors would say, in the decade they had lived there, there had never been any indications of anything. No issues, they were perfectly fine neighbors. They were A-okay with me, pal. Both Alex and Sabrina attended the same high school, and both were students at the University of Iowa's College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
Okay.
Alex, a former Eagle Scout.
We're just going to need a lift assist on the male that's injured. The other 3 DOA.
So who this
You figure being an Eagle Scout, he would have been just a slight bit more prepared.
shit would break into their house, and shoot up the place. A triple homicide we got here, which is a hell of a lot more than what the police were initially called for. What they just thought it was going to be a burglary and some shots have been fired, not executions. 3 of them. See, the call was made at 8:23 a.m. Alex said he called literally 30 seconds after this intruder fled from the home. Now, he said that morning, middle of June, so a hot summer's day, he said he'd been sleeping out that morning in his little sleeping bag on the sun porch with their dog, Hero, but he woke to gunshots. Gunshots coming from inside the house, so he went inside. By this stage, his family was dead. And then in the basement of the house, like as you can see from the body cam, I call it a basement, but it's not like a dank, dirty basement. It's like it's another floor of the house. It just happens to be under the ground level. The living room was there.
It's a finished basement. It's a finished basement.
Bedrooms. Alex and Sabrina's bedrooms were there in the basement. So he walked in there and he saw this intruder standing over his father Jan with a .22 caliber rifle, executing him on the ground. Alex, he saw red, sprinted at him, rugby tackled him. They fought. They wrestled, and then they fought over the gun. Alex couldn't say if he fired the gun or this other guy fired the gun, but either way, Alex got shot in the foot. He fell to the ground. This guy booked it, leaving the gun there out of the home.
There was a man? What man? A tall man?
How old are you?
20?
Okay.
Now, he wasn't really able to describe this person, which, I mean, you think they had wrestled. I think you'd get a pretty good look. All he could say was he was a black guy wearing black clothing and he had green shoes. Now, later on in the interviews, the police interviews, he'll start
Stylish. I mean, stylish.
to remember a little bit more, a few more details later on. And all over the house were spent shell casings. And no signs of whoever Alex said did this. No signs of forced entry, no signs of stuff thrown around, like a burglary. Nothing was taken.
Barber, come in front of me. You come in front of me, Barber. Yeah. Brown, you go help Kaczynski, and then we'll take you upstairs.
Oh, look at the police poopy. He's gonna bite Fat Boy. Get him, Cool Joe. Yeah.
The dog did a whole scent follow-up thing, trying to find the scent of this intruder, and found nothing. No scent. The dog was like going in circles. The processing of the scene began and would take place over the next few days, searching for DNA of anyone who didn't live there. They questioned neighbors, asked for Nest cams, Ring cams, any CCTV of the neighborhood. The Jacksons themselves had home security camera, and it showed nothing. Nobody. No stranger.
And it showed bum bum bum. Not a damn thing.
Approaching the house,
Mhm.
breaking in, unarmed, because the weapon they used was the Jacksons' own. Now, behind the couch in the basement living room, behind that couch was a little pile of spent shell casings, indicating that that's where the person was firing from. See, this particular murder weapon, the Jacksons' own rifle, when it fired, the spent shell casings were ejected from the bottom of the gun, so they just fall directly down. Like in a lot of other weapons and rifles, these spent shell casings will be ejected from the top and go spinning out everywhere, but not this gun. So where the spent shell casings were found, you could assume that the shooter was directly above it. And from the evidence, it appeared that Jan Jackson, he'd been in his office upstairs having his little morning cup of joe and his breakfast muffin. Maybe he heard something, he heard gunshots. He started walking down the stairs when the killer, the shooter who was standing behind that couch, where a little pile of spent shell casings were found, opened up on Jan as he was walking down the stairs into the basement. There was bullet holes found in the wall where the stairs was. Jan was shot a couple of times. He tumbled to the bottom of the stairs. There was a blood pile found there. Then this killer walked over Jan, executed him. Then maybe they shot Sabrina before, and that's why Jan went down the stairs, because Sabrina's bedroom was in the basement. But regardless, she was shot from the hallway, and then they walked over again, shot her again, point blank. Then the killer went upstairs to the master bedroom where the mother, Melissa, was sleeping. Again,
But what drove him to want to do this to family? I mean, I don't understand killing your family in any way, shape, or form, but people who come from like very abusive families, you can see it happening. You know, you can see it happening. But he came from like a very loving family. What made him snap? Okay, was it loving to everyone outside of closed doors, like behind closed doors, was a whole other story. What made him snap? That's what I want.
shot from just inside the door, walked over, shot her again in the face. Whoever did this wanted to be real sure.
Alex, how old are you, Alex? 20? Okay, can we get you? We're gonna try
Let
and
me
get
sneak by her over here.
sneak by over here. Okay,
Alright.
ready?
1, 2,
Put your weight on your other foot. Your other
Okay,
foot.
we're at the limp out.
20, right?
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
What hospital are you going to?
I don't know. You prefer or? I don't care.
In the meantime, Alex was taken to the hospital to secure his foot.
Okay. Which hospital have you been to the most today? Okay. Which hospital have you been to the least today? That one. That's the one I want to go to.
Gotta make sure you don't bleed out. You know what I'm saying? He was interviewed there, but he was also on a lot of drugs for his foot.
Is that all you want to say? Do you have any other injuries, Alex?
I hope not.
Okay.
Are you able to, is this leg hurt at all? No. Are you able to like rotate it in the other? Yeah, so I can kind of see the full extents up here.
White man, black man, Hispanic, Asian.
Well, that's not. I know he's wearing black clothes.
guy. And what happened? I pushed him quite deep. What I pushed? Quite deep. Yeah, deep voice. Oh,
Deep voice.
Gotcha.
What did they say?
Fuck you.
He told the police everything that had happened up until
It's believable. It's entirely, his story so far is entirely believable. This could have been a person wearing black clothes. Very well could have been a person wearing black clothes. It very well could have been a person with a voice that went, "Ugh," whenever he hit him. And it very well been a person who, after he got hit, looked him dead in his eyes, was like, "Fuck you." I mean, I would believe it. That's a very believable story. I've been told fuck you a lot in my life.
that point. He said that the night before, on the 14th of June, him and his dad had that 22 rounding rifle out, and they were cleaning it together. But then Alex said he'd think the gun was just left out there. His dad still had it when Alex went off to do something else that night. But then clearly the killer entered the house that morning, picked up the gun, and coldly, calculatingly loaded it, fired off. That gun could hold 11 rounds, but more than 11 rounds were fired, so they loaded it that morning, started shooting, loaded it again. That killer left no DNA, and no fingerprints were found on the rifle, other than Alex's. Must have happened after he went inside and wrestled, right? Though he was all very fake. He heard gunshots, went inside, saw a tall black guy wearing all black standing over his father, sprints at him, fuck goes boom. He thought. Now, there were a number of inconsistencies in Alex's story, though. So he said he was sleeping outside that night with the dog in a sleeping bag, and it was a very hot summer's day, and then he went inside, wrestled, he got shot in the foot, and then he had to crawl into his own bedroom to grab his phone, because he didn't have his phone outside with him. But the phone activity said he probably did have his phone with him, because there was activity on the phone. He'd been Googling things, and he'd been on ifunny.com.
Why would this happen? You think someone was upset with your family?
He couldn't describe the killer until he needed to fit his story. Like, he never said the killer wore gloves until he was confronted with the fact that only his fingerprints were found on the gun. He said he didn't get a look at him, but then he later said, he was wearing a balaclava.
After he shot you, he left?
I think so.
No DNA or scent of this mystery man either, nor CCTV or security footage. And the rifle, the weapon that was used, the murder weapon, the Jackson's weapon, it was so unusual that the investigators, when they were looking into it, and the investigators were all, very familiar with firearms, right, knew all about guns. But when they were looking at this gun, they were like, I have no idea how to load this. The investigators said they had to watch YouTube videos.
You load it simply by the magazine tube comes out the rear here, and you simply put in, I think, 11 or 12 rounds of 22 into the stock. It is a bottom ejector, okay, which is fine, I guess.
To figure out how to load this weapon, when this mystery man broke in, knew immediately how to do it, and did it twice. Palm prints were found on the gun, consistent with Alex Jackson.
Maybe it was just one of those 1 in 1 million moments. What if some dude was just having a hard day, sitting back, thinking about his childhood, and was like, man, I really wish I wouldn't sold my grandpappy Pap's gun that he taught me how to hunt with for crack cocaine. Why am I alive? I smell a distinctive smell of the gun that I used to have that used to belong to my grandpappy Pap. It might not be the same, but I know that gun oil smell from anywhere. I'm going to find it. Finds it later. Has to kill everyone with it to redeem himself to his grandpappy Pap. I could see it happening. I'm just saying. I have a very good imagination.
Also found was prints on the gun, on the barrel of the gun. They were found on a part of the barrel that would be very consistent with you grabbing the gun, pointing it down, and shooting yourself in the foot. Alex Jackson's.
when we stepped out, we talked to our coworkers. They were up at your house. Okay. We visited your house, visited the neighborhood, and Alex, the reality is there's not any evidence that anyone else was over at your house. It's okay. It's okay. Alex, do you want to tell us what happened? What really happened?
We're not here to judge you at all. Like I said,
I'm sorry, but you're gonna judge. You're human. You're human. You're human. You're gonna judge. I'd judge. I would. I wouldn't let him fool, but in my brain, I'm like, you piece of shit. Every moment, every word. I'm gonna scream at him, throw something at him, because I'm a cop and I can do that.
I went downstairs, and the man was there. My father. I got shot. I think he left. That's not what the evidence is showing. What do you mean? Like I said, if there had been a person there would be some evidence that he showed up. There would also be evidence that he left. Because he's not there now, and there is no evidence of that.
so the person that hurt your family was in Central. Okay.
Who?
Well,
It's not me.
you didn't hurt your family?
No, I would never. I wouldn't.
On the Bloody Prince, where Alex said he dragged himself into his room to grab his phone after he had been shot, well, the blood doesn't enter Alex's room as if he had crawled in, but it does exit his room. Alex must have shot himself in the foot in his own bedroom.
How the fuck was you a fucking Eagle Scout? Your disappointment to the sash, and you should be very ashamed.
I'm okay with the fact that you have been completely honest about this, and you haven't.
Do you want our report to reflect that there was a guy in your house that there's no evidence of? Oh yeah, there's a guy in my house. I saw it. Listen to me. Do you want us to write down in the report that there was a guy in your house, that there's no video of him ever showing up or leaving? Do you want us to put that down, or do you want to give us some sort of an explanation that makes sense? I want the guy for why this happened. When's the first time you thought about this scenario? I didn't do it. Okay? I would never hurt my family. They are important to me. I love them.
We're going to continue to confront you with the inconsistencies, okay? And that's why it just gets to the point where it's like, when is it time to just come clean? You know what I mean? You shot yourself in the foot. Because you have to shoot yourself in the foot.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, but you wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to do that either. But you have to, because how can everybody else?
Why would I do something like this?
To make it look like students. You should have kicked the door to make it. Well, I'm just saying, or at least ransacked the house. And you're probably going wishing you would have now.
You still think someone was there? Yeah. Do I know someone was there? Okay, how did they get out?
You piece of shit. Before you shot yourself in the foot, you should have kicked in the door a little bit, threw around some stuff, maybe put frozen hot dog in your butt. Oh. Fuck.
I can't really remember. Probably the door they came in, or
But they didn't.
there should be 3 counts of first-degree murder.
The day of the shooting, Alexander Jackson was arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder.
A Lynn County prosecutor called Alexander Jackson a danger to the community.
Police say Alexander called 911 at 8:23 Tuesday morning, saying a masked intruder had shot him and his father. When Cedar Rapids police arrived at 4414 Oakleaf Court Northeast, they found 3 bodies in 3 separate rooms. Alexander went to the hospital with a gunshot wound to his foot.
What is your name, sir? You may proceed, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jackson, the criminal complaints been filed against you, accusing you of the crimes: count 1, murder in the first degree; count 2, murder in the first degree; count 3, murder in the first degree. Your Honor, based on the facts of this case, it is clear that this was a horrendous murder. It was more than just a murder, it's an execution of the defendant's mother, father, and sister. Furthermore, the defendant's concocted story of a phantom burglar shows that the defendant acted out of malice and calculated intent to get away with these murders, and he's clearly the
Okay, yeah, I agreed with everything that dude said, all the way up until he said calculated. I would accept sloppishly thrown together. Calculated. And I know, which there's going to be that person out there like, Bill, that's not what it's me. I know that's not what it's me. I was making a funny, okay? Take away my funny.
danger to the community. For those reasons, Your Honor, the state requests the bond as aforementioned.
His bail was set at $3 million. He went on trial in early 2023. He pleaded not guilty. The defense argued that this case was pretty much all circumstantial, and all the evidence was left open to interpretation. And an intruder couldn't, definitively be ruled out. So nobody really knows what could have happened that very day. Just because there's no evidence of something happening doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. You'd have to be really good at doing your job to leave anyone knowing that you did your job.
This was a family who loved each other and celebrated each other's accomplishments. The home was littered with family photos. Why would he have done this if he had indeed done it? Right? Why would he? No motive has ever been proven in this case. If indeed, although evidence was pointing back at Alexander Jackson, his story was inconsistent and made no sense, and all the evidence just pointed directly back at him. But why? The defense said it was more likely that this was an actual intruder. This was an affluent part of town. The houses were all, pretty nice, right? And there's lots of their houses.
I did say that earlier. I did say that. I complimented on how nice that house looked. I did say, I didn't even know.
Weren't too close to each other, so a killer could easily kind of come and go. And another thing was that the camera at the back of the Jackson house, they did have a security camera there, but it wasn't working.
Usually you break into either steal the stuff, or in this case, kill people.
Yeah. Well, but that occurs, that people come into a home and kill people, right?
Right, but my big problem with that is when you do that, you bring a weapon.
Well, who's to say that this intruder didn't have a weapon?
Why would you use their weapon if you brought one?
Because that's a better weapon. You told Alex.
Did you see his face? Hold on, I gotta take that back. I'm sorry. Watch his face. Like, fuck. Maybe it was a better weapon. Maybe he came in there with like some shitty ass fucking knife. He was like, ooh, gun. Oh, I like gun.
To say that this intruder didn't have a weapon.
Why would you use their weapon if you brought one?
Because that's a better weapon. You told Alex that people don't just
I would not want him as a lawyer. For any reason whatsoever. The other dude most definitely would take up. This dude, no.
Come in and kill people, but that's exactly what happened in Idaho, right?
Yeah, but what I really meant was that people don't just come in and kill random people.
They don't what?
Random people.
Like
those people in Idaho aren't random. He was stalking one of them.
Well,
I cite my
that's,
source from
again,
the news.
your theory.
Well, I got that source from the news.
Okay, all right, we'll go with that. But there have been cases that people just came in and killed people randomly. If I got your testimony straight, Mr. Jackson shoots himself in the foot in his bedroom. Is that what you're saying?
It looks that way.
There's no bullet found in.
Oh, thank God. I thought I was having a stroke or something. I kept seeing flashes of light, and I did not know what the fuck it was, like, period. Like, kind of, where I'm seeing it, it looks like it's coming from behind me. But come to find out, it is coming from behind. I'm not trying to intentionally poke her in the boob. I swear on everything. It's coming from her arm. Her arm glitters.
That bedroom was there?
No.
No shell casing found in that bedroom?
No, but he also had a shell casing in his hand at one point.
When he
And
crawled-
there's no bullet found where he claimed he was shot himself, or I'm sorry, where he claimed this shot occurred.
So you think that he, after he shot himself, he took the firearm back up the hallway and dropped it off on the other side of his father. Is that your theory?
That's exactly what I think happened.
Thank you. No further questions.
Maybe somebody could have come in that way. And the police dog that we can see in the body cam going around.
So what you're telling me is he shot himself in the foot, presumed to walk over his father, drop the gun over, walk all the way back over, pick up the bullet casing, walk all the way down through there. No, wait a minute, hold on. They said they shot him. He shot himself in his room, in the bedroom, right? So that means he would have shot himself in the bedroom and went all the way back out carrying the gun, threw it on the other side of the father. There would have been. Did they check to see if the boy's blood was mixed in with the father in any way, shape, or form? That'd be a good way to figure it out.
It didn't pick up any scent of any supposed killer. Right, well, as you can see in the body cam, the dog is panting a lot, which the defense said could have interfered with its scent tracking capabilities. And also this dog wasn't used to tracking on concrete and gravel. It was like a forest dog. The defense called witnesses who said they never saw him lose his temper, act out of anger.
Is there there would be a difference, wouldn't there? Like the concretes and stuff, that's going to hold different smells for longer. From different people too. So maybe they have to identify more. Nature's nature. Like squirrels, pee. You're going to notice a person going through what you naturally smell out in nature more than someplace where people walk everywhere. Okay, I see, I get you. You need a dog that has like a Hoover vacuum cleaner nose, not like, you know, one that's got like a Great Value brand vacuum cleaner nose. They both do the job. This one does a different job than the other.
Misbehave, nothing. A friend said he was laughing and joking the night before when they were playing Halo together online. The motive that has been offered, in this case, quite simply it comes down to this. When Alexander Jackson said this, when he shot himself in the foot, again.
How do you support yourself right now? How much support yourself? Financially. Yeah. Who pays for your Chick-fil-A? Well, my parents, yes. I'm 20 years old. Yeah. You had a conversation with your dad about you needing to go find a job. Yes. Since he started shopping. Okay. What did he tell you? Well, that's just probably a job.
His father, Jan Jackson, told Alex he needed to get a job or he needed to move out of the house. That's it. And so with that, they argued that the motive was Alexander Jackson's parents were forcing him to get a job, one of those dang dirty jobs.
So, it was either get a job or move out, or kill your whole family, have no one to support you, and live on the street anyways. If that's the reason, dude's a dummy. I'm just saying. Get a job at Chick-fil-A if you like it that much.
Or they were going to kick him out of the house, which is like a common threat. I don't think they would have followed with actually kicking him out of the house. So they say, well, it's been offered that, well, Alexander Jackson, he saw only one way out, and that was via the .22 caliber rifle, concocting this whole story of an intruder breaking in and killing his family, and then he shot himself in his own foot to make it seem like he was a victim too. At the time of the murders, Alexander Jackson had $30 in his account. But other motives? Perhaps even...
for some sort of a motive. Was it in inheritance? They have no proof that Alex would inherit. They have not testified about a will, whether there is a will, whether there isn't a will, what it says, or whether Alex even knows. There was some question about the sister being bisexual, that somehow that would be something motive for Alex to kill his sister. Well, you hear Alex later in the interview when they start questioning Alex's sexuality. Alex said, I'm straight, but if I wasn't, my parents would be open to that. He says that right in there. It's not a motive. His grades dropping during COVID, that's a reason to kill your whole family? Or he didn't have a job? How many kids didn't? How many kids had their grades drop during COVID?
Yeah.
And Alex said that his father was treating him fairly, that his father was letting him make his own mistakes.
A common and reoccurring theme that you're going to find as you go back over your jury instructions is that in multiple places in those instructions, multiple different instructions, it says that you as jurors are to use your reason and your common sense. It does more than say it. It demands that you as jurors, when you go through this evidence and evaluate it and give weight to it, that you use your reason and common sense. And I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you process that evidence and as I sit down and Mr. Johnston stands up and then I get to talk to you one more time, that as you're evaluating everything that you've seen over the last couple of weeks that's been presented in this case using your reason and common sense, you're going to find that the defendant's story does not make sense, that it is unreasonable to believe the story told by the defendant. And I'm asking you now, and I'm going to ask you again when I stand back up, that when you go back and you deliberate over this case and you process the evidence in this case, that you as jurors return verdicts, murder in the first degree, for the murder of Jan Jackson, the murder of Melissa Jackson, and the murder of Sabrina Jackson.
See, as you know, she didn't get me. Like she didn't pull me in. Like, you're fighting for someone's life. That final argument should have been like some halftime show shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Wow me. I wasn't wowed.
At the end of the trial, Alexander Jackson was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder.
All right. As to each of the 3 counts, form of verdict 2 has been executed. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alexander Jackson, guilty of the offense of murder in the first degree.
He will be sentenced in early March. His convictions, they guarantee a mandatory life sentence without parole. So, farewell, Alex, we hardly knew you. And Sinead, that ends this whole story. And that's the end of Alex Jackson. A story with a lot of holes in it, that's for sure. Story with a lot of inconsistencies, kind of on both sides, depending on which side of the argument you come down on. It's an odd one, made even odder by everything the suspect did, but it's also so odd, it's doesn't make any sense. It seems just ridiculous that he did actually go through with it. It's bizarre, it's insane, and it's the end of the Jacksons of Cedar Rapids. Before we go, folks, I just want to say again, if you enjoyed this whole video, please check out the That Chapter podcast. If you
I don't know. See, I normally I'm all like, yeah, he got life. But what if he didn't do it? Like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's all relatively shifty sounding as shit. But dude didn't really sound like he was. I'm not gonna say like there was something wrong with him, because I don't think there was something wrong with him. Say he said he's 20. He acted more like he was like 15, 13, somewhere around in there, instead of 20. Like, just wasn't mature. And if he did sleep out in a sleeping bag and he might have been half asleep, all this could have happened, and he might not have got a look at the person. That happens when things are going so fast, you're half asleep, adrenaline's pumping, and shit's going on. You get little chunks is poof gone. Like, I remember, but I don't remember. Like, I know some shit happened. But what if? I mean, they're right. I mean, because someone broke in, just because someone broke in doesn't mean that they broke in to steal something. Maybe they did just break in to kill them. Maybe they did break in. Maybe they was planning on killing them, hence gloves and other shit that's going to keep evidence from getting everywhere. People watch Law and Order. People watch SVU. People watch this shit. They know things. Garbage bag, duct tape, wax them eyebrows and shit. Bro, people know. I'm just saying, like, the back camera, it was messed up. Some people don't even have cameras in the back. It's all in the front because, that's where packages and stuff like that gets dropped off. Normally, backyards are fenced in those nicer communities like that. But it ain't much to jump over a fence and walk into a house, see the gun, pick it up. You could have enough time to sit there and figure it out, be like, or it could have just been, the person knew that gun because they had one, or they made more than just that one gun for that one specific family. And maybe it's like, ooh, I know that. Yeah. Maybe they was going to take him with them, and then the boy came up, and they was like, fuck, and, shit happened, and they jetted. Thinking, oh, okay, I've done shot people. People have probably heard that. I don't have time to sit here and fuck with this dude. He's shot in the foot, so he ain't going to be chasing after me. I just need to get the fuck up out of here. Went back the way he came, which there would be no evidence. I don't know, stuff like that gets me. Like, if you can convince me enough to where, what if? It's horrible. It's horrible. Do not ever put me on a jury. If you can make me think, what if for 1 second, I'm done. I can't go through with it. It's 50-50. I know you got, like, without reasonable doubt, the whole jury's got to be like, oh yeah, he's a piece of shit. I'd be like, I don't know. Like, that was pretty damn convincing, man. Like, what do you want me to do? But then again, what if for some reason in his head he figured, oh, they want me to move out or get a job, so I'm just gonna fucking kill them. get life insurance money, and that'd be that. Wouldn't he have probably looked up like things into it like most kids do? Kids look up everything. Even people who know better look up stuff. I don't know. This one's got me torn. I want to be like, fuck yeah, he's in fucking prison. Yeah. Ooh, won't get life. Oh, no parole. Oh, but what if he didn't do it? Then like, fuck, what if? Alright, hey, I really enjoyed that, Mike. You come in like a wrecking ball on that one, bud. Good sir. Fine gent. Good. If you all enjoyed this video as much as I did, please go down there and ever so tenderly caress that like button. For however long you want, then whenever you're done, smack it a little bit. If you're a fan of, you know, spooky stuff, scary stuff, strange stuff, disturbing stuff, stuff that, you know, confuzzles you, think about subscribe. Yep. Because if you subscribe, we can be confuzzled together. 2 confuzzles. Can't be. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you next one. Bye-bye. Damn, Mike. That one's gonna have me scratching my noggin for the rest of the damn night, bud. If you did. I would have shot myself twice in the foot. Why not? If I mean, why not? Who's gonna be stupid enough to shoot themselves in the foot twice? I mean, oh yeah, he gonna know why. Shot in the foot twice.